Ajama. Let's Talk FGM is an initiative of HACEY Health Initiative in partnership with Women Radio 91.7 and funded by the United Nations Trust Fund to End Violence Against Women. Today on Let's Talk FGM, we're discussing zero tolerance for female genital mutilation, reporting and speaking out against it. Zero tolerance for female genital mutilation, reporting and speaking out against it. Female genital mutilation (FGM) comprises all procedures that involve altering or injuring the female genitalia for non-medical reasons, and it is also recognized internationally as a violation of the human rights, the health, and the integrity of girls and women. The United Nations strives for its full eradication by 2030, following the spirit of the Sustainable Development Goal 5. So today I'm not the one giving you all the full information that you need, but I do have a guest here who will arm us with all the information that you need as regards zero tolerance for female genital mutilation. I'm speaking today to Bolarinwa Olabode, Executive Director, Refuge of Life Foundation. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thanks.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
All right. Director, Refuge of Life Foundation. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thanks.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
All right. It's great to have you.
Yeah.
The conversation is ongoing, so you can call in and contribute. The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also send in a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. You can also send in messages on the live stream, and we'll be able to read that out. As well, you can download the Women Radio app on WFM 917 on Google Play Store and on iOS. And you can listen live online as well via the website www.wfm917.com. We would love to hear from you. All right, going straight into conversation today, zero tolerance for female genital mutilation, reporting and speaking out about it is what we're discussing today. All right, Valeriwa, let's start with why you think that female genital mutilation should not be performed on girls anymore. Do you think so? Let's start with that.
Introduction together with the jingle that was played before we started the conversation. You will discover that almost everything that we need to hear has been highlighted in the jingle.
So
however,
I'll help you answer your question.
However, I just want to note that it is an harmful practice, as has been said, because a lot of things are attached to it. And except that we all join our hands to stop this, we may continue to put people, especially girl child, into trauma. We may continue to jeopardize their future. Because what we don't know is because we don't see the effect, like we don't see it physically most of the time. I mean, immediate effects now. We don't see it physically most of the time. Okay, if it is being practiced, most of it, I mean, sometimes you see people hemorrhaging, but then if such person did not hemorrhage at all, it will not be as physical. The effect will not be physical to us. I mean, someone was telling me that how do I know that it is so harmful? I said, just like a friend of yours, if a finger of your friend is cut off, it is easily known. Everyone will see. Okay, even if I have not met the person before, immediately I see the finger that is not complete, I'll be able to, I can even start a conversation immediately and say, oh, what happened to that? But because it's a private place.
Exactly.
It's a secret place, and we have made it as such. And that is why a lot of people that are going through this trauma many of them cannot say it. I mean, the survivors, because it's a private thing.
Exactly.
We have made it so. And that is why this kind of conversation is very important, so that we can continue to talk about it. Survivors can also come out and know that, oh, I am not the only one that, is suffering from this. So I can work out myself out of the trauma technically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the reason why it seems as if it is not seen. However, the effects are so enormous on the long term.
Definitely.
Number one is the fact that which has made a lot of young girls who necessarily don't want to involve themselves in what we call sex by convenience.
Mm.
They don't want to engage themselves in it, but because they just want to try the next person, maybe the next person is going to do better. Maybe the next person is going to do better. They keep on trying because what they should, what the technical way of enjoying sexual intercourse for the female gender has been taken out, has been tampered with. So they continue to test, run every guy they see, so that they can at least get to the place of enjoyment. That is one. But we don't see it as such. We just name them, we tag them. But they want to enjoy their life too. So, and I mean, when you look at the traditional belief that you don't want them to enjoy sex so that they don't become promiscuous.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it is not working the way they expected.
It turns out to be counterproductive.
It is totally counterproductive. That is one. The other aspect is the fact that these people, they won't be able to tell you, except for few of them who are able to say it outside, that some of them, when they go to urinate, they have issues urinating. But how many of them will come out and tell their friends, their parents, their husband? They may even feel they are the one that have that problem, and nothing. And it has nothing to do with the way they are being caught. So they may want to keep hiding it. So these are the things that they are being caught. So they may want to keep hiding it. So these are the things that we can talk about. Another thing is during childbirth. You discover that during childbirth, a research is done that most of the women who have either stillbirth or struggled so much to give birth, most of them are motivated. This is so terrible, and we cannot stress it enough. And that is why it is important. I'm now going back to your question. With all the effects I've been able to mention, that is why it is important for everyone, anyone, to stop the act, because the effect and the psychological effect also is another thing entirely. I mean, those ones, even if it seems as if, I mean, anytime they remember, especially those ones that are old enough during the time those things have been done on them, anytime they see maybe a picture that has to do with the picture they saw on that day, maybe the song, anything that has to do with the surrounding that day, anytime they see it or they feel it or they hear it, the psychological effect comes back. And that is why it is so important to stop the act.
Absolutely. And I really hear your point of view. And basically, everything you've said has been said before in this program. But hearing it obviously requires repetition, so that the more that people hear this, the more they can really understand that this is not a one message and that will be it. This is a message that we need to keep repeating so that people can really understand. So do you think there's enough awareness as regards female genital mutilation and the effects and why it should be eradicated? Everything you've just talked about, do you think enough people know about this?
Well, just like I said, we cannot stress it enough. We will keep talking about it. Of course, just like we are doing now, this is one out of, I mean, every other platform, medium with which we can talk about our own voice anywhere and everywhere. Of course, we cannot stress it enough. We need everyone to come on board. I mean, a father, a mother, a child, a teacher in the school, every one of us on the streets, to friends, even in church, in mosque, every place of worship, we must continue to talk about it. On social media, I mean, amidst social groups, we must continue to talk about it, because this is the only way by which we can continue to stress it to the hearings of those ones that still carry the tradition, carries it to wherever they are. I mean, it will shock you to know that there are people who carries this kind of tradition, and they are not in Nigeria again. They are outside the country, and they are thinking about it that anytime they give birth to a girl child, this is what they are going to do. So it does not,
regardless of where they
are. So this is why this is what they are going to do. So it does not,
regardless of where they
are. So this is why it has nothing to do with a location. It is everywhere. People carry their tradition everywhere they go to. So we must stress it continuously and continually. On social media, very important. On radio, television, everywhere. Amidst friends and families. Maybe we want to do, okay, just like this Christmas that is coming. When we gather our friends, when we gather our family members, we should talk about it. And let me just let you know that this kind of time, this kind of yellow tide, when people will visit their families, these are the times that people also try to use, because family members will bring their daughters around. These are the time when people use to court. So this is, in fact, this is the best time to continue to talk about it, so that when you take your child to talk about it, so that when you take your child or when you visit your grandmas or grandpapas, you will be able to tell them beforehand that this girl, I know this is what we've been doing in our family, but it must stop. It must stop. So I'm bringing my child to for Christmas or for New Year. They must stand it very well. So it's the work of all and sundry. We cannot stress it enough. You are doing your best as a radio station. HACEY is doing their best. Every other organization on board, because it is not a one-man show.
Not at all. Not at all. That's 100% true. It is not and can never really be actually a one-man show. So I definitely agree with you on that one. Then what are some reasons that you think that are responsible for people not speaking up, even when they know that female genital mutilation is wrong? Because you would agree with me that there are some people that are aware about all the effects, all the health effects, medical, non-medical, psychological. They know all these things, but for some reason, they're still bound by that culture and they don't want to speak out, even if they don't practice it. So there are two sets of people. Some people are bound by culture and they still do it. Some people know that they shouldn't be doing it and they don't do it, but they don't speak out against it to people who do. So why do you think people like that still exist?
The most important reason why people don't talk is because of the culture of silence. We, especially in this part of the world, we believe strongly in solidarity. And when I mean solidarity, I'm not saying that we all want to support something that is bad. No.
Okay.
I'm saying that most of the time we want to just mind our business such that you don't allow your own, maybe technically, quote unquote, to know. Your own to know. Yeah, to destroy other person's life. And that is why it's so difficult to tell people about, or to raise the alarm when you see it. And that is why this kind of program is very important, so that we can continue to stress that when you see something, say something.
Exactly.
Of course, sometimes ago there is another the country was talking about when you see okay, whistleblower, beautiful. The country was talking about whistleblower in terms of fund. But we can continue to even talk about whistleblower in terms of FGM. We should blow the whistle. And these are another reason why it seems as if people are not talking is because they are not sure whether when they say things out, they are covered.
So they're not sure if they're at risk of anything happening to
them.
them.
So I mean, I think the onus lies on us as individuals, especially as law enforcement agents, or as organizations, as people who are at the helms of affair, that people can that people should be able to trust us with information. Okay, so if I call you to tell you this is what I am seeing in my environment, I should be able to have rest of mind. I should be able to go and sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. I'm silent. I've talked about the fact that people are afraid whether they are not going to be covered. Another thing is that, are we even doing, immediately we report,
Mm-hmm.
are we doing anything about the report? Is it not just about just come and report, and at the end of the day nobody faces the law? You see, one of the reasons why it seems as if people will continue to perpetuate evil is that when rewards are not given to positivity and negativity, that I mean in a way that is commensurable, we must be able to know that, okay, after I have reported this kind of case, this is what happened. It will gear people up to say, oh, thank God, it seems as if, and until we continue to do that, we make people examples. Nobody will take us seriously.
Absolutely.
So that's, I mean,
The
I
third
think
point.
we should look into it.
That's a very good point about the fact that there's no action.
How
And
many,
then
how many people have you
because
had?
there's no action, it feels like, so even if we report, even if we speak out, then
So,
what's going to be done about
so
it?
what's
So
the
what am I now
what's the
talking
problem?
now?
What's the problem?
Very good point. Very good point. The culture of silence and the fact that people are not sure that even if they speak out, they'll be covered. They're under no risk. They're not under any risk of exposure or anything happening to them.
Yeah.
And of course, the fact that there's probably going to be no action at the end of the day. So that's actually a very sad situation, which needs a lot of action to be taken on, so that can, there should be something to be done about that, so that people can actually have hope that when they report, things can change. Now, before we continue, it's 20 minutes past 2 on Women Radio 91.7. This is still Let's Talk FGM. And today we're discussing reporting and speaking out against female genital mutilation. Zero tolerance for female genital mutilation, reporting and speaking out against it. I'm Somtom Titilayo Ajaman. If you're just tuning in, you're welcome to Let's Talk FGM. I'm speaking with Bolarinwa Olabode, Executive Director, Refuge of Life Foundation. So you can call in and lend your voice to the subject at hand. Do you think zero tolerance for female genital mutilation is a possibility? And do you think that reporting and speaking out is a way to end female genital mutilation? 07000 917 is the number to call. 07000 917 You can also send in text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. 07000 that's the number to call. 0703 175 6537. Now, coming back to you, Balarwa, the subject of speaking out is one that has been on for a really long time, talking about female genital mutilation, the eradication of female genital mutilation. But when you say speaking out, is it just reporting? What does speaking out really entail?
Okay, beautiful. There are do's and don'ts of speaking out.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to report, there are steps you must take. You don't just say because they say we must talk, so you just keep saying whatever that comes to your mouth. The first thing is you must have true information. That's the first step. You must so much research that your information and be sure that it is true. Number two, you must, one of the things that can also be traumatic is that when you are reporting, you must be careful about the name of the survivor.
You must be careful not to divulge
Exactly, the name of the,
okay,
especially, and also the picture, the face.
So no name, no face, no name, no face.
Exactly. You can as well tell the people that, okay, the person lives around this environment, but no pictures, no names, because these things affect the psychology of the survivor. So these are the things that we must be very careful about. No names, no pictures, and also you must respect the opinion Okay, this is when the survivor in herself comes around to tell you that this is what I've just gone through, especially when, let's say these are a bit older ones.
Okay.
When they come to you, you must respect their opinion in reporting. They may tell you this is the aspect, this is the length to which I want you to go in terms of exposing my information.
Hmm.
They may not want you to go to the length of every story that surrounds it. Okay, this happened, but not the deep thing that will continue to make them feel bad about themselves.
Okay.
So we must respect, we must communicate actively, but without picture and without name. And we must be sure that this information is real. Because at the end of the day, if we are divulging false information, it can bounce back on us. We can, at the end of the day, if we are divulging false information, it can bounce back on us. We can be said to have raised a false alarm, and you know what that can be. Okay, so it is very important that we do those things. Respect their privacy, respect their picture, their face, and be sure your information is real, is genuine.
See, every single thing you just said now it lends credence to the fact that, and then you go through the wrong ways or you do it wrongly. Because if I hear you correctly, you're saying apart from the fact that it can bounce back, it can also defeat all the effort done previously, as in the line to end female genital mutilation.
And when you are communicating, you are communicating because you want people to know the importance of stopping it. It is not necessarily for the sake of that person alone, the sake of the survivor alone. Yes. You are communicating just so that all people can know that now it is still existing in this environment, so that people can begin to track location and begin to be careful about making research and looking inward in that environment, so that if the next thing, if that is going to be done next, I mean, would have been awareness and people would have gone ahead to stop such people would have gone ahead to stop such acts. So these are the reasons. We don't just report because we feel, oh, we want to blow whistle, we want everybody to know that I've seen somebody who is doing this. So these are the reasons why we must be able to. And one of the reasons why we have also to do it, because the people that are doing it, we must let them know that when you do something that negates nature, you must face the consequences.
100%. When you do something that negates nature, you must face the consequences.
It is very important, because if we continue to leave them, he's my brother, he's my uncle, brother, he's my sister, he's my friend, we grew up together, he's a traditional somebody. You understand? I've known him for 50 years. I've known him he's a grandpa. If we continue to allow it to fester, we may continue. Because one critical thing that I come to realize is that when your neighbor is not doing fine, it's a matter of time. You will not be fine soon. So it means that if you feel that because it does not concern me, or because, well, it's just for it's because they are poor, it's because they are ignorant, it's because, I mean, these people, they are not schooled, that's why they are doing it. It doesn't concern me. I have the information. I must confess to you that the children of those people that are being caught may eventually go to school and get married to your own children that you feel they are schooled. So the effect will continue to fester, because you cannot stop children from going eventually.
Exactly, and mingling with other
people. So the effect will even bounce back. And that is why the children of people that are not being trained now actually come close to the children of those who are being trained. The same people who are being caught today, we mingle with the children of those people who says, oh, I know everything about FGM, but I'm not going to say anything.
This is why speaking out is so important.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. See, there's one part of this entire conversation that I cannot just get out of my mind, and I've asked this question before, but you did mention something that if you're in that state, because you're saying these people who perform the practice of female genital mutilation, and maybe your brother, your grandpa, and all of that, but what if the people that want it performed? What about those people? I mean, if your husband is saying, "Oh, I want us to mutilate our child,"
okay,
but you, the wife, knows better. Your husband is, I mean, technically the head of the family. Or if your husband knows better, but you think, okay, this is a tradition, this is what I know. So even though your husband knows that we shouldn't be mutilating our child, then because you are insisting that as the mother of the child, you want that to be done to your child, and your own mother is in support and saying, yes, my daughter, keep going, keep going. And at the end of the day, you as the husband, you're looking at your wife and, madam, you are making the wrong choice. But within families, there's only so much you can say when either the husband or the wife decides that that's what they should do. So who gets to report who in this case, and how does that play out?
Okay, beautiful. And this is
the husband and wife matter we're talking about
okay,
now.
Okay, you see, it's a technical thing.
It
but
is.
But the truth is that how informed are the two of them?
Let me answer that on some level.
Maybe the problem, or let me say the challenge that we have, that most of the time we look at people who are learned or who are schooled or who just have periphery information about a matter as though they have deep knowledge and understanding of it.
Okay, I hear you. But let's think about it from the perspective of one party knows, like really knows. But because the other person doesn't know, or either knows also, but
that is still ignorance.
No, I agree. But in such a case, how do you now speak out?
Okay.
Or what do you do in such a situation? Because these are actually the more common scenarios.
It happens.
Exactly. So what happens?
The best way to do is to find an organization.
Okay.
To speak first to either the husband who is insisting or the wife who is insisting. That's the first step to take. Find a non-governmental organization around you that can speak to your husband or wife. Okay, those people, they are loaded with enough information, deep knowledge about what to do in speaking with someone who has that kind of mentality. Now, and that is why, this is very, very important. If you have taken such a step and the person, either the man or the woman, still continue to insist, I think during the conversation with an NGO person, he or she must have heard that there is a law backing it up.
Okay. So it's not just don't do this. Don't do it because there's a law.
Because apart from trying to tell people, okay, you are convincing them, you must also let them see the aspects of the law.
Yes, that there's a consequence to it.
So if, despite showing the person that there is a consequence, he or she still continues to say, look, this is what I want and I'm going to go for it, then I think the next step is to, get the person reported. Because at the end of the day, if you allow or permit it to be done, you, apart from the fact that the children are yours, and they're going to be having the effect and it's going to eventually bounce back on you, you have also been, you'll be regarded in law, you'll be regarded as someone who connived.
An accomplice.
An accomplice. Because it's either you are silent intentionally or silent unintentionally, but you have reported.
And ignorance is not an excuse.
It's not. So if you have tried, speaking with someone who can give the person information and he or she is not yielding, then the next thing is to, because at the end of the day, you'll be, found wanting to, you'll be termed as an accomplice, just like you said. So that is very important. That is why you must not just keep quiet because he's your family member or she is your family member.
this table you're shaking this particular afternoon.
Well, yeah.
I don't know whether this table will still have leg.
It's more than that.
Absolutely.
I think,
and I like how you answered the question, because as I said, these are more common scenarios in today's world.
It's not about shaking tables, actually. It's about when you speak with a survivor. Okay, let me quickly bring up a scenario, if I can be permitted.
Okay.
I have a case of a woman who for several years could not allow the husband to have sex. For 10 years, the husband could not have sex more than thrice. So it means it was by divine arrangement, technically, that they had 2 children. 3 years within 10 years. I mean, 3 times within 10 years. The man and the woman had to divorce. Let me say separate, because it did not go to court.
Okay.
Eventually. So, but at the end of the day, when the woman was, asked questions, because they belong to a group of people where we feel, okay, these are people who are, religious leaders. I don't want to mention which of the religion.
Yes, please
okay.
Go ahead.
Now, they are the people that we feel that they are, so it's not supposed to be done. They are not supposed to separate. So, but when questions were asked, the lady opened up, and it was discovered that the remaining aspect of the private part is so tiny, because what was done for her was a type 3, the inflation. So it was so tight that every time the man had to enter, to have sex, it would be a tug of war, crying, painful. You see, if somebody like that comes out to talk about what she is going through, a lot of people who says they are front runner or front liner in terms of practicing this harmful, in practice, who's liner in terms of practicing this harmful, in practice, who drop their blades and whatever they are using, they will drop because it is because we have not seen survivors talk
about their stories.
Share experiences, crying, cost them. Some of them don't sleep well. Some of them, I don't want to continue to raise unnecessary emotion, but that is the truth.
I hear you.
So it's a matter of life and death. It is not something which is just wave off. And these people are not serious. It's something we've been doing maybe before my birth. And no. It's something that is very serious. If we meet with survivors, if they share the experience, you will not want to talk. You will not want to talk about it. Let's say you want to go into practicing it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your point of view on this, and this is really shedding more light on the entire subject. Thank you very much. This is still Let's Talk FGM on Women Radio 91.7. Women 91.7.
Mama Dora, bring Dora, Mama Dada, don't come circumcise her.
We're making 26. But after this, we'll come back.
For like 2 years, I'm sleeping like 100,000 pound money. You sure? My family that call this guy first president to arrest you. Because I consign your life, but that worry your life from my house. Obviously, I'm going to report you. Circumcision no good at all. As in the plenty health palava for girls' body. My people, if you hear or see person who wants circumcise any girl, shop and go to law enforcement person near you, or make you call 0812 167 0069. Female circumcision no good. Make we join hands, stop her.
Now, HACEY helps to stop cause projects when they funded by United Nations Post Fund to end violence against women. Bring una this message.
23 minutes to 3 on Women Radio 91.7. This is still Let's Talk FGM. 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. If you're just tuned in, you're welcome. Today we're discussing zero tolerance against female genital mutilation, reporting and speaking out against it. Reporting and speaking out against it. This subject today is particularly a very, very full one in the sense that it lends voice to the fact that female genital mutilation definitely needs to be eradicated at the end of the day. That is basically the bottom line of zero tolerance. So, if you're just tuning in, you're welcome once again. Let's Talk FGM is an initiative of HACEY Health Initiative in partnership with Women Radio 91.7 and funded by the United Nations Trust Fund to End Violence Against Women. My name again is Sumto Titilayo Achama, and today we're discussing zero tolerance for female genital mutilation, reporting and speaking out against it. My guest is Bolarinwa Olabode, Executive Director, Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, reporting and speaking out against it. My guest is Bolarinwa Olabode, Executive Director, Refuge of Life Foundation. It's good to have you here. Thank you very much for still being with us.
Thank you very much. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
You're welcome. The conversation is still very much ongoing. 07000 917 917 is the number to call to contribute. If you'd like to ask questions to my guest, or you'd like to clarify something you've heard before, or you'd just like to lend your voice to the subject of female genital mutilation, then please, by all means, 07000 917 917 is the number to call. You can also send in your text messages or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Now, Bolarinwa, the subject of speaking out is what we've been discussing. And there is no way that people can speak out if they do not have adequate information. So I'm going to ask you a two-part question now. How can people get more informed about female genital mutilation? More informed about female genital mutilation individually now. If I know about it, but I don't understand all the nitty-gritty of it, how do I get more informed? That deep information that you spoke about. How do I get more informed? And then how can we as people empower other people to speak out? We who know better, how can we empower them to speak out?
Thank you very much. I'm going to start like this. If you are listening to this program and you want to know more about FGM, start listening to this program. Continue to listen to it. I think that's the first place to start with.
That's a really good first step.
Okay. Then the next thing is we have phones now. Information is on our fingertips. We can do anything with our phone. Pick it up, type on Google or any search app. Try and ask any question you want to ask on female genital mutilation. Even videos will be shown to you. That's how good that is. Another step we can take is walk into any NGO around your environment. Graciously, HACEY is doing fantastic, and that is why we are here today. If you have any of their branch around you, walk into them and make sure you get the available information. So, information is out there. We should not, and with regards to us too now, the people that we feel they have the understanding, the knowledge, how will they continue to also share their knowledge? Number one thing is, like we are here now, this is an avenue. Number two is going on social media to also talk about this FGM, like talk about it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, your WhatsApp status, talk about it consistently, continually. Tell everyone you meet, one-on-one. Tell them in your church, in your mosque. Tell your friend to tell your friend. When you go for picnic, tell people within your age group. When you are in your school, tell people. Everywhere within your cycle in your workspace, tell everyone, your parents, your grandpas, your grandmas, tell everyone. We have that duty, we hold that duty to humanity to tell everyone that we must not go against nature again. This is what God has perfected. We should not go ahead to destroy or to cut it. So we all must go all out. If you are listening to this radio at this time, you are getting that information already. When your wife or your husband gets home in the evening, sit him or her down. When your children comes around, let them know. When you have friends, when you have meetings, let everyone. It's not just about spending the whole of time about on it. You can an introduction to do it for a child or for his child. So talking quickly, I have a boss who was in an environment. Uh, he did the talk about FGM. Of course, he felt bad that he would have done it earlier, because when he did it, few days after, one of the person that was within the circle came to meet him and said, "Look, you should have done this 3 weeks ago. I just took 3 of my kids to my grandma when they had a holiday, and they've just been caught."
So if you had said this
And of
3
course,
weeks ago,
did you know
I wouldn't have done it because I would have known better at that time. That is so sad.
the lady that was saying this did not even inform the husband.
She just took her children to.
Did not inform the husband. And you know the funniest thing? There was a day we were talking about FGM on social media. We were having interaction. The husband also posted, "Thank God my 3 kids are not mutilated, living in
Denial. Ignorance, actually, because he didn't even know about it at all.
So you may not know who is thinking about it. So just like people who go about talking about their leader, their religious leader, tomorrow may be too late. Talk about it to someone today. Now, like now.
Thank you
so
much.
As you are listening now, you can put it on your status. Post it now on your Facebook. Do that tweet about FGM now on your Twitter. You can post something about it on your Instagram. That's your TikTok. Say something about FGM now as you're listening. Everywhere you go, let people be able to see that. I mean, even if nobody has given you an ambassador of FGM, you can be one. You can be one. And humanity will reward you for doing a good job.
Thank you so much. Earlier, you spoke about the role of law enforcement agencies and the fact that it feels like there's not enough action that takes place even after cases have been reported. So, what are these law enforcement agencies supposed to do, particularly from the stage of being reported to till the stage of getting justice eventually? Particularly in a bid to encourage more people to speak out, as you said earlier, and to end female genital mutilation once and for all.
Okay, maybe I should start like this. It's a pity we've seen law enforcement agents as our enemy, even though technically they are called our friends.
Yes, that's what they say.
Now, we must understand that when we see law enforcement agents, especially on the issue that surrounds FGM, they are not just out there because they want to enforce law. They want to just no. So when we see them, because it is by seeing them from the perspective of saving lives that we can get the best out of whatever they are doing for us. I must sound that very well.
Okay.
When we see them from the angle of doing their work as regards saving the lives of survivors, of people who they want to practice it on. When we see them from that perspective, number one, we will be able to respect them. Number two, we will be able to report accurately to them. Now, to the law enforcement agents, when they get reports, what they are expected to do is to also do findings. They won't just swift into action and start arresting or doing anything. Do findings. When they are sure that this information is real, the next thing is to take action, moving to the environment. Of course, the first step while they are trying to do findings is like doing an undercover job, when nobody will be able to know that they are around, or no traces. They can get the real truth, the facts out of the case. So after doing the undercover job, they move swiftly to the environment and work on the available information coupled with the findings they have done themselves, and pick those ones. I don't want to use the word arrest now.
Yes.
And pick everyone that are involved in the case and begin their interrogation. That's another level. Finding, I mean,
making findings.
Making findings. When they get reports, they make findings on the cover. After that, they switch into action to pick people. The next thing is to do interrogation. Is it true? Yeah, we might have known that it's true, but to ask, is it true?
Yes.
Why are you doing it? What led you to it? I mean, who are the people? What led you to it? I mean, who are the people who told you should do it? Who are involved in it? And those things will allow them to gather enough information to know what to do. If they have done it or if they have not done it, what is the law saying about this particular case now? Maybe they have finished the act,
yes,
or they have not even done it at all, or they have done it before. They've been apprehended for it, and they are doing it again. So it's in levels. I mean, it's not just a kind of law that fits all. No.
So you need to address each case with its own
peculiarities, exclusivity.
All
so
right.
They do that, and that is their job.
But how about taking advantage of partnership opportunities or collaboration with international agencies?
Of course, it's very important. The law enforcement agents cannot do this alone. They need to work hand in hand with different kind of partners. I remember. About 2 months ago, we were a state. We had a collaborative meeting with the magistrates, justices, about this idea of FGM. So it's with policemen, with lawyers, with different kind of people, with even FGM ambassadors, because now there are FGM ambassadors within our environments.
Exactly.
And you don't know them. So if you think nobody will see you, there are people within that environment that of course, they may not be paid, but they are volunteers who believe that this thing must stop, and they are looking to see who is doing what at what time. So these are the people that make the collaborative effort of these people is what the law enforcement agents we work on, so they can get the best platform to work effectively and efficiently at every time they needed to do so.
All right. So, Valarawa, you said a final question, and I want your honest opinion and expand on that opinion a bit. How you think this can happen? I asked this question earlier when I was opening the phone lines. Do you think that zero tolerance against female genital mutilation is a true possibility in the world we live in today? We're in 2022 now. So do you think, United Nations is saying female genital mutilation should be successfully eradicated in 2030, or as at 2030. And that's in about 8 years from now. And that's still a long time. A lot of children, a lot of girls would have still gone through this in about 8 years from now. And that's still a long time. A lot of children, a lot of girls would have still gone through this unfortunate circumstance. So do you think that it's a reality? Do you think it's a possibility? Do you think this is something we achieved in this world?
I'm going to answer that question with this question.
You want to answer my question?
Yeah.
With another question. So when you ask me this question, who will answer your question?
about 10, 15 years ago, did we think rather that we will be speaking with someone in the US, looking at their eyes via WhatsApp call? Did we?
Not at all. Well, we
So-
probably didn't, but somebody did and came up with the
So
idea.
because you are thinking about that, I mean, some people came together and said we should be able to do. It is possible. It means that if we all collaborate, I mean, you are Titi, I am Bola. I mean, you have your own sphere of influence.
Mhm.
If I do mine, you do yours. Every one of us does ours. Everywhere, even driver. Yesterday, I was at a meeting. Immediately, I boarded a bus. I started talking to the driver about a particular subject topic, and that was it. You don't need too much explanation.
Mm.
I mean, the way there's a way that we also encourage people.
Mm.
I mean, there's a way that we also encourage people to talk about female genital mutilation, especially when you see a pregnant mother and she is trying to board a bus with you. We bless God for this, and we are waiting. And okay, if you eventually give birth to a baby girl, please save the life of the girl. Don't mutilate. It might not just be more than that, but it will sink. The person, it might just be the next bus stop that he,
Or she will be coming down from.
But then you have passed the message. It might be a sticker. You might just have the money to just do a sticker and post it on your television. When people come around, it might be on your car. It might be in front of your house. Anywhere you find yourself. If we continue this conversation and we don't under discuss it, if we continue to talk about it every now and then, honestly, we can be able to eradicate it in our lifetime. I mean, somebody like me now, graciously, I have my first child to be mutilated, or will I want such a child to mix amidst people who are mutilated? No. So the best thing I can do is to saddle myself with every form of responsibility to go around, to talk to people everywhere I find myself. I miss my friends, I miss my family, and on. I believe that if we are able to do this, we will be able to stem the tide of FGM in our generation. 8
Thank you
years
so
is
much.
a long time.
It is. And that's
So,
why I had to ask that
8
question.
years is a very long time. 8 years, so we can achieve it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bolariwa. Thank you for spending time with us and
Thank
for
you.
being such an influential educator on the subject of female genital mutilation.
Thank you for
very
having me.
much.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. And that's it on female genital mutilation. It is indeed possible, but it will require the consent of everyone involved. This is definition of everyone involved. This is definitely not a stakeholders thing, and this is not just a survivor's journey as well. This is a collaboration between you who has not experienced it, you as a man who will never experience it, and just anybody and everywhere, including you that's tuned in right now. So you need to speak about it and play your own role in ending female genital mutilation. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you for tuning in, and this is what we call it today on Let's Talk FGM. Join us on Wednesdays, 2 p.m. on Women Radio 91.7 as we talk FGM and condemn the practice. Let us join hands to stop female genital mutilation today. So to report cases of female genital mutilation, this part unit here, to report cases, you can call 0812 467 0069. I'll take that again, 0812 467 0069. And you can go on stopcart.hacey.org to get more information. Stopcart.hacey.org to get more information. Thank you once again for tuning in. My name is Sumto Titilayo Ajama. Good afternoon.